What do films such as E.T. the Extraterrestrial and The Terminator have in common? They were science fiction films from the 1980s that were both critically acclaimed and enjoyed box office successes, with The Terminator eventually spawning a billion-dollar franchise. Directed by Ridley Scott in 1982, Blade Runner fits neither of the aforementioned criteria. Polarizing reception and subpar box office returns initially led to it being labelled as a flop. However, almost 4 decades later, and Blade Runner is now often cited as one of the best works in the science fiction genre. The film is set in the dystopian world of 2019 Los Angeles and follows ex-cop and former Blade Runner Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford. A Blade Runner is the term used to describe specialized police in charge of hunting down and executing, or as the film calls it, retiring replicants. Replicants are bioengineered androids manufactured by the Tyrell Corporation to assist humans. Deckard is called back by his former supervisor to track down 4 Nexus 6 replicants that are on Earth illegally. He comes across Rachel, a prototype replicant who believes she is human due to false childhood memories implanted in her mind. The story follows Deckard as he hunts down the escaped replicants while also forging an unlikely intimate relationship with Rachel. The film deals heavily with themes of self-identity, namely, what it means to be human, and this can be clearly seen in the mise-en-scène of the film. Firstly, let's talk about the setting. Blade Runner paints a retrofuturistic view of dystopian Los Angeles, heavily influencing what would eventually be formed as the cyberpunk genre. An important characteristic of cyberpunk would be high-tech and low-life, which meant that while there were many technological advances, society as a whole did not improve and in fact deteriorated. The world of Blade Runner has many futuristic technologies, such as flying cars. Cyberpunk contrasts this by having dark, dingy, and bustling streets, possibly full of crime at every corner. Many big corporate brands can also be seen throughout the city, such as Atari and Coca-Cola. Both of these factors lead to the paranoia that is ever present in the film. Furthermore, it is always raining in the film, giving the film a very gloomy setting. Smoke is also seen in the majority of the shots, mirroring much of what film noir does. This adds a layer of mystery and secrecy present in the whole film. Secondly, the use of props play an important role in the film. The Void Kampf machine is a device used to determine if the person taking the test is a replicant or a human. Blade Runners, like Deckard, test suspects who may or may not be convicted replicants. The Void Kampf machine measures emotions, especially the empathy of the subjects, to determine the result. Early on in the film, Deckard is shown performing the test on Rachel. While replicants usually take around 20 to 30 questions before the test results are positive, Rachel, on the other hand, took more than 100 questions. An experimental replicant created by Dr. Eldon Terrell, Rachel was made to form her own emotions and thus more human than most replicants. Later on, Rachel even asks Deckard if he had taken the test himself, to which he does not respond. Is Deckard a replicant? That is a question that is still asked by many fans of the film up to this day. Another aspect of this film that I greatly adore is its cinematography. Film noir, which translated in French literally means black film, is synonymous with Blade Runner. Almost every scene contains some form of low-key lighting, forming many deep, dark shadows on the faces of the characters in the film. Some scenes are also shot underexposed on purpose to greatly enhance the contrast of the darker and lighter areas of the frame. When Deckard visits Tyrell, the lighting in his office is very unique. Lights flicker on the walls as if it was flowing like water in a river. It portrays a form of classiness that is not found anywhere else in the film. In fact, the same technique was used by cinematographer Roger Deakins in the sequel to Blade Runner, also being used with the same context. The lighting is only found in the buildings of the Wallace Corporation, a manufacturing company of replicants similar to Tyrell. All of this contributes to the enduring and enigmatic world of Blade Runner. In conclusion, Blade Runner is a wonderfully crafted film with many deep underlying themes and ideas that establishes itself as one of science fiction's classics. Initially released to a confused audience who did not know what to make of the film, it's no wonder that Blade Runner is still talked about to this day. With an equally brilliant sequel released in 2017, the original Blade Runner influenced so many science fiction films from the 80s and the 90s. It is not your typical science fiction film like Star Wars or E.T., but if you ever get the chance to watch Blade Runner, it would be a crime not to do so.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears.